Hello and welcome to the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari for round 14 of season 4 in SRL in tier 3, with what could possibly be a championship deciding race for Kevin in the Mercedes. Currently needs to outscore Luna Jedi in the Ferrari by 23 points and needs Quoker Oath to not outscore him by 19. It'll be very, very interesting to see what time some of these drivers are set around this circuit. Old school gravel runoffs. There's no margin for error. So it'll be Damien first to set a lap in the AlphaTauri at their home race. Of course, team located in Faenza, just outside of Italy. Well, not Italy, it's outside of Imola. Through Ravazza 2 to start his lap. Opening the DRS. Make sure to keep the car as straight as possible. Coming up towards the Tamburello chicane. Spot the braking zone, 75 metres. Nice and gentle, not too aggressive with the curbs to begin with. Now up towards the Villeneuve chicane. Avoid the inside curb of the first bit, launch it over the second bit. And it's a 24.5 as he comes into Tosa. Make sure not to lose the back end as it's uphill. Now, really steep climb up towards the very fast Piratella. Make sure to keep it within track limits, which he does. Now swooping back downhill again into Acquaminerale. Very easy to lose the back end again as you're uphill on the exit. It's a decent lap so far to 50.6 into the Variante Alta. Not too aggressive over the sausage curbs. It's a decent exit enough for Damien. It's now second longest straight on the track down towards the two Ravazzas. Gets it through the first one nicely and the second. Use all the track on the exit. Now keep the car tight to the line on the right. And cross line to 16.3 for a first lap. Next will be Zoccolini in the Red Bull. Into Ravazza 1 and 2. Loses the back end slightly. It'll be up to the line and it will be a 16.3. Slots in just behind. Michael into 24.6. Clearly made a mistake on his lap somewhere. As Kevin sets the lap that is invalid. See Elmeric's invalid on his medium lap. Got Apollo Aston in the Ferrari. Getting all squirmish out of Ravazza up to the line. It's a 16.6, the purple final sector for the Ferrari. And Corker and the Aston Martin up to the line. And Corker goes P5 with 37.9, clearly made another mistake as well. Next will be Casey, who goes P4 with 16.8 in the second Red Bull. Takes that purple final sector. As Damien goes faster on a second lap of a 15.9. His teammate Michael is also up on his time in the second AlphaTauri. Down towards Ravazza, gets it in nicely. Runs a bit wide at the second apex, but up to the line. It's going to be an improvement, and it's enough to go pole position of a 15.8. Kevin up to the line again, invalid again. It would have been enough for P4 with that lap. See, do we have anyone else on laps? Got Casey's 4 temps up into the Variante Alta. Is the Red Bull. Down towards Ravazza, need to spot the braking zone. Using all the track on the exit. There's the Red Bull. To the line, where's this going to put Casey? And it's a 3/10 improvement, enough to go P5. And Kevin on his third lap. The same set of tyres. Just wants to get that valid lap in. It's a decent exit out of Ravazza 2. Up to the line comes Kevin. And it's 6/10 quicker than Michael in the AlphaTauri, and it's a super lap for Kevin, considering the age of those tyres. And Championship Bravo Luna Jedi starting his lap. It's not deploying any ERS. Got Rob in the Alpine through Piratella. into Aquaman, getting the car slowed down. Should be careful of putting the power down. It's a 51.8 middle sector split through the Variante Alta. See, hard on the brakes, using the curb on the entry. And it's a decent exit from Rob, and it's going to be up to the line, and it's going to be P8, the slowest of the current times. Cheap Skill starting a lap. Yuri has invalidated his. Kevin into the pits. And Lunachado has been validated and is coming into the pits. Cheap Skills 25 flat first sector for the Mercedes towards Piratella, not pushing too hard with the track limits. Gets it in quite nicely for Aqua Minerale. On the brakes into the Variante Alta, takes a lot of curb on the first bit, and not so much on the second. Looking like an alright lap so far. Just make sure not to invalidate through the final two corners. Up to the line, it is a 16.9, and it's only enough for P8 for Cheap Skills at the current moment in time. So Yuri in the Alpine set a purple first sector of 24.4. As it validates through Aqua Minerale. Damien through the Villeneuve chicane, throwing the car through. There's a 10th and a half up of a 24.2. First sector split through Tosa. Kevin getting out the way nicely. Into Piratella. Using enough curb on the exit. Down into Aqua Minerale, really nicely done. Uses as much curb as he needs to. He's currently 3/10 up of a 49.9 through the Variante Alta. No invalidation, decent exit as well. Touches the grass. Into Ravazza, gets the car slowed down. Again, uses all the curb on the exit. Out of the final corner, up to the line. Is it enough for pole position? It's not quite. By 0.006 of a second, but it's enough for the front row. We've got Michael, who I think might be backing off. Yeah, he's backing off and he's going to go again. There's Kevin. Damien now repays him the favour and gets out of his way, but he's a 10th down, Kevin, through the first sector. He'll desperately want to improve, as he will not want to start the race on those tyres that he set the personal best lap with, considering how many laps he did. We're through Piratella. Just about within track limits and Aqua Minerale, but is it an improvement? It's not quite, but it is. It's a better middle sector as he runs wide at Variante Alta and invalidates. Again does Kevin. We've got Elmerson, the McLaren. Runs wide and invalidates the Villeneuve chicane. Corker really fighting the car through the Villeneuve chicane. Slightly down on his time. He gets a decent run out of Tosa. Piratella get the car in, running it right up to the edge of track limits as the Aston Martin. Again for Aquaminarali, bouncing over the raised curbs, but it's 2 tenths up to pair for middle sector. Just about within track limits again. As Michael goes fastest with a 15.1 in the AlphaTauri. So it looks like this is going to be using the 2 AlphaTauris and Kevin for pole position. Well, out of Ravazza 2 comes Quokka up to the line. It's a 2/10 improvement, it's enough to go P4, but a full second to the next car. The 2 AlphaTauris and Kevin look to be just stretching and flexing their muscles a bit in this qualifying session. See Robin the Alpine currently 9 tenths up on his time. That would be enough to put him up into P6. This comes down towards the 2 Ravazzas, looking into the gardens of the house owners. And he runs slightly wide on the exit, and that's invalid, and that will be this and next lap invalid. For the Alpine, what would it have been? It would have been enough for P7. This Lunar Jedi in the Ferrari. Again, not deploying any ERS. 8 tenths down, so not improving. Zoccolini in the Red Bull, getting all out of shape through Tosa. Currently a 10th up, running slightly low on ERS. Azuri goes P4 with a 15.7, slots nicely into that large gap between P3 and 4. Zoccolini loses it on the exit of Aquaminarali and rips the front wing off the Red Bull. And doesn't have enough time to get back to the pits and change that front wing. He should do. As Roberts invalid again. There's Chief Skills in the Mercedes. 4 tenths up. Through the Variante Alta. And down towards Ravazza. Out of Ravazza 2. Up to the line goes Cheap Skills, and it's enough for P6 for the Mercedes with a 16.2. Damien getting ready to start, well, should be his final lap in the AlphaTauri. Stay on board for it. Sets the car up out of Ravazza. He needs a 10th and a half to take pole. McLaren gets out of his way enough. Into Tamburello, a bit deep on the brakes and backs off. So Kevin starting his final lap now. In the Mercedes. Over the line. Long run down towards the Tamburello chicane. On the brakes, avoid the yellow sausage curbs, which he does nicely. And up towards the Villeneuve chicane, just gotta throw it into the first bit. Think about the braking at the second bit, and he's slightly up on his time. The purple first sector for Kevin, runs a bit wide at Tosa, uses the exit curb though to good advantage. Up the hill, Piratella throw it in. Not pushing the track limits too much. Again, Aquaminarali just got to throw it in and just hoping it sticks. Back end one to the snap. He's as well. Up towards the middle sector split. He's still slightly up into the Variante Alta. It's a bit crossed up on the brakes. But it does enough to keep it within track limits. It might be close. Down towards Ravazza 1. Gets the car in nicely, using all the curb. Through Ravazza 2. All the curb on the exit again, up to the line. Can Kevin take away pole? No, he can't. He only improves marginally, does the Mercedes. As Damien has also spun it in the AlphaTauri. Now we've got Michael coming on to start his final lap of the session. Has a 10th in hands. But can he go in any faster and stretch that gap even more? As I don't think Kevin's going to get another lap in. And down towards Tamburello. Again, really good run. Keeps the momentum. Does Michael. Just didn't really get the car in how he wanted. He's only marginally up through the first sector. Again through Tosa, using all that extra curb. You need to keep the speed. As Piratella gets the nose in. A little bit hesitant with the throttle. Now his teammate's on the left and he spins at Aqua Minerale and his teammates off the track. Might have just put him off. And with Luna Jedi starting his final lap in qualifying, ERS now turned on for the Ferrari. It's going to have to be a big lap for him. The checkered flag is now out. He threw Tamburello. It's a decent run. I'm just going to find out who's going to be next to line. Chief Skills is invalid. Casey is not pushing. Elmerix is not. I think it'll be Yuri will be first. Marginally up as Yuri is the Alpine through the Variante Alta. Picking up a bit of dirt on the tyre. Down towards Ravazza. Gets it in. Just about within track limits on the second. On up to the line, it's P4 for Yuri with 15.5. Since backing off, Quoker's done with his lap. Luna Jedi is the only car left to set a time. Up to the line comes Luna Jedi. Is it enough for anything? It's a front row by 4 thousandths of a second. So Luna Jedi is on the front row, but it is Michael at AlphaTauri's home race on pole position, and Luna Jedi needs to hit retire on his own accord for the session to continue. And it's Michael on pole ahead of Luna Jedi. Kevin is down to third, and Damien the other AlphaTauri in fourth, Yuri in fifth. And what an end to the session, and he saved it to the very end. Right at the very end for Luna Jedi, but it wasn't enough to displace Michael. Super lap from him. Kevin of course P3 and Damien fourth. Yuri fifth. Aston in sixth. Elmerich seventh. Casey eighth. Zofflin ninth. Chief Skills 10th, and then Quoker and Rob 11th and 12th, and will be the two with the free choice of tyre for the race. You know, the drivers going around on their formation laps. Let's see, we've got, of course, all the top 10 on the softs that they qualified on, with Quokka and Rob both electing to go for the mediums. So predicted race strategies are one stop, soft to hard, or medium to hard. Be interesting if any drivers go for the gamble of maybe a two-stop or going soft to medium. Of course, it would be such a long pit lane, you want to avoid making more than 2 scheduled pit stops, being one of the longest pit lane loss times on the entire game. So Michael keeping them at just a steady pace as Rob has spun at the back in the Alpine. That'll delay proceedings at the start. Elmerix has been disqualified from the formation lap. And just waiting for Rob to pull into position. There we go, lights are coming on here in Imola. On the green for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, and Michael gets away well from pole position. Kevin immediately jumps Luna Jedi off the start. So down towards Tamburello for the first time. Michael leads into turn 1. Ahead of Kevin is Luna Jedi's been overtaken by 2. It's down to 4th. He's been challenged by his teammate as well. It's relatively clean for the opening lap, but Michael leads from Kevin and Damien, who are both overtaking Luna Jedi on the run to the first chicane. So Quokka and Rob have made up quite a few positions as well on those medium compound tyres at the back. Already seemingly a bit of a gap forming in the middle of the pack. As you look to the front, into Ravata for the first time. And it'll be Michael who will lead them over the line to finish lap 1. With a 5/10 gap over Kevin and the Mercedes. In favour of Black Luna Jedi is getting into the slipstream. And Damien is not close enough to the AlphaTauri to mount any sort of challenge into Tamburello. Already a bit of a train beginning to form with the top 6. Yuri at the back of it just trying to cling on as Aston runs wide and the Villeneuve chicane, and that's going to present Yuri with an opportunity, looking for a move. Isn't quite able to find it as there's yellow flags for Rob, who has gone off on the exit of Tamburello. He's got going again though, as no safety car should be caused. In front, gaps in really small at the front as Yuri has lost it, as has Aston, the two of them. And Aqua Minerali now, Yuri is there, and that is a very, very odd incident. There's a two of them quite a fair distance away from each other on the exit of Aqua Minerali, so I'm not quite sure if the two of them have made any contact. But either way, I think it's you can't actually see, but I think it's just a virtual safety car that has been called out. Yeah, VSC deployed. As he's managed their delta. There's a green again, no one gets a drive through. He's sort of timed that quite well as Kevin. And Shot gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And retires from the sessions as Roberts a double DNF for Alpine and just lap 3 of this race. And the top 3 looking to break away from Lunarjet, which they have already done. They've dropped him out of DRS. And can Lunarjet keep up with the front 3 and keep hold of that DRS? Down towards Ravata, and it's going to be Kevin is going to be just half a second behind, and the power at DRS, it is really powerful around this track. And see, just watch as it come over the line as it drops and drops and drops the gap, and Kevin just going 75% throttle at the end of that straight. Clearly doesn't want to be the car in the lead of the race. As you know, at the back I've got Katie's got past Chief Skills in the Mercedes as the Red Bull. Zelmerix in the McLaren already picking up a 3-second time penalty, down in 5th place. He's also managed to get past Quoker, who's on those medium compound tyre, the only driver on the medium compound. Well, back to the front though, this 4-car train headed by Michael and the AlphaTauri, all seemingly having pretty equal pace. And Zochlini's gone off in the back in the Red Bull. Here we go, this time out to Ravata 2. Is Kevin this time going to want to go for the move? They all trade fastest laps. And see, up towards Tamburello, and again Kevin lifting off the throttle, not wanting to put a move on the AlphaTauri at the present moment, but it's going to leave him quite vulnerable if he keeps on doing it. To the second AlphaTauri, Damien is really hustling him up towards Tosa. Is Damien close enough? He's going to go the long way round. He's got the better drive. Out of the hairpin, up towards Piratella, the side-by-side still. One of them's going to have to relinquish the position. Kevin has to relinquish the position. The super move from Damien. It's an AlphaTauri 1-2 on lap 5 of the Emilia-Romagna GP in Tier 3. That little game that Kevin was trying to play and stick behind one AlphaTauri has ended up costing him, and he's now behind both of them as the two championship rivals make small contact. Coming out of the Variante Alta into the braking zone. Lunarjet are getting really close to the back of the Mercedes and tapping Kevin nearly into a spin. Now onto the pit straight. Is he going to go for the lead? But it looks like Damien's going to attack his teammate down towards turn 1. No fight offered from Michael. Damien takes the lead as the AlphaTauri swap positions. And team play from AlphaTauri. Clearly want Damien to be in the lead of the race and try and pull away and maybe drag Michael with him. Lunarjet had a small look at the inside of Kevin into Piratella as Kevin gets a bit out of shape. For there into Aqua Minerale, you've got to be so careful when you're that close to someone. You don't know when they're going to break. You see Damien is beginning to stretch away It's not by much, but it's enough, as Kevin has now made a small mistake into the variante alto. Was there contact between him and Luna Jedi again through there, but it has cost Kevin the DRS to the two AlphaTauris, and is that their chance at the front to pull away? As we look back to the front again, but here we go again. Michael this time going to come back at his teammate into Tamburello. And again, there's no fighting here. The DRS is ridiculously powerful down the pit straight at this track. And how simple it is just to swap positions lap after lap as Michael makes a small mistake. And is Damien going to look to the inside? He is. And Damien's going to get the position back again into Tosa. It's all going on. They're clearly not racing for each other, the two AlphaTauris. And all that fighting has brought Kevin and Luna Jedi back into play again. Incredible racing for a track that they say they can't overtake. There's a 4-car straight. The top 4 are separated by a second. And again, Kevin getting a bit out of shape again as well at the back. Elmerix has managed to get within DRS's train, making it a 5-way scrap for the lead of this race. And of all, the one who's at the disadvantage is actually Michael being the only car in the train who is actually behind his teammate. We might want to change that down towards Tamburello. Tucking in to the slipstream of his teammate up towards Tamburello. Is he close enough? No, he's not on this occasion. You see Kevin's got a decent exit out of Tamburello, runs a bit wide, probably going to get a track limit warning for that. Will the Mercedes? He's going to play really cautiously. Is he going to look for a move? Luna Jedi has a small look into Tosa, thinks better of it. They're all just sitting in that train. You can get the feeling at some point that Damien will not want to be the car at the front of this train, because Kevin and Luna Jedi have a significant more charge in their battery than the other two. As Elmerix has a look on Luna Jedi into Variante Alto and gets Luna Jedi a warning and a penalty for exceeding track limits. Kevin got out of shape as well. Towards Ravazza they go. Positions stay the same. Does Kevin have DRS going down the pitch straight? He does. But Luna Jedi is right behind him, not burning any ERS. Clearly doesn't want to attack the Mercedes at this stage of the race. Playing a really tactical game are all the drivers at the moment, as it's basically, I don't want to lead, you lead. It's one of those very much esports levels of driving at the moment. And Luna Jedi getting really close to Kevin. He's clearly got the pace to overtake the Mercedes. And I don't think he's confident within himself that he can get past the Mercedes and then get back in front of the two AlphaTauris and pull away. There is a catch to this, is to make contact through Ackerman, O'Reilly and Elmerix is going to get past the two of them. But Luna Jedi puts Kevin off, and Kevin's managed to catch the car. But Kevin is now down to 5th place. And Jedi probably, if I was him, I'd probably give that position up and back off to give Kevin the position back. He barged the Mercedes off the road. He's now going to look to try and get back past Elmerix, who literally has no fight. Does the McLaren down the pit straight. As we got as well, Michael retakes the lead off Damien at the front. So Michael retakes the lead as the AlphaTauri swap positions again. But they now have a bit of a comfortable buffer to Luna Jedi, who is really trying to push, and no, Luna Jedi makes, and no, Luna Jedi's backing off to let Kevin back through, and fair play to Luna Jedi. It's gonna, it should evade him a penalty letting him back through. And sportsmanship from the two of them, from the two title contenders. And I've got to go again as Elmerix picks up another 3 seconds. And now these two have to push, get back past Elmerix and get back in to that DRS window of the two AlphaTauris. What will help them is that Elmerix is keeping the DRS to them as well. So once they get into the DRS of the McLaren, they should be back within the train and chasing the two AlphaTauris. But first of all, they've got to deal with each other again. Down the pit straight, Luna Jedi retakes 4th spot off Kevin in the Mercedes. And the gap is 2 seconds to the McLaren in front. He's got to really dig deep of these two and almost sort of work together at this point. It's probably as much as they don't want to. But if they want any chance of getting back close to the top 3, they've got to work together. Or will they pull the pin on the undercut? It's powerful enough at this range. It will very much put them right on the back of the 3. Elmerix runs wide at Aqua Minerale, cuts the track. He's putting all the pressure on the two AlphaTauris at the moment in the McLaren. He's down towards Ravazza. Is Elmerix going to be close enough to maybe have a challenge down the pit straight at Damien? No, they're coming into the pit to Damien and Elmerix. As always, Elmerix very nearly goes into the back of the AlphaTauri on the pit lane entry. Kevin has followed them in. He's pulling a pin on the undercut on Luna Jedi. But Michael has stayed out and has got to really push now. Does Michael, if he wants, to stay ahead of his teammate and Elmerix? Luna Jedi also stayed out. He's got a lot of work to do. So the order's the same. So here's the strategy split. Damien is on the medium compound tyre. Elmerix has gone aggressive and gone with another set of softs. And Kevin has also elected to choose the mediums. So 2 possibly going to the end. 1 definitely isn't. At this point, if you're Damien, you probably, if you were Damien, you'd let the McLaren go. And let the McLaren go do his own race. But Damien's going to defend aggressively into Tosa. As Elmerix looks for the move out of Tosa up to Piratella. Damien is far enough ahead into the corner. Defender's not helping the two of them in their quest to undercut Michael at the front though. Elmerix getting really, really squirrely, but he gets a much better exit on the soft compound tyres towards the Variante Alta. You can't go side by side into there. He's going to set it up on Damien. He gets a much better exit again, does the McLaren. He's looking for it. Michael and the Jedi are into the pits. As the Jedi goes hards, Michael goes mediums. More splits in strategies. You see, out of Ravazza 2. And Elmerix is going to have a pretty simple, as Damien squeezes him to the far left of the track. But Elmerix takes the lead, but has this fighting cost them? So go on board with Michael. He's retained the lead on the undercut. It has not worked. But Elmerix is right behind him, and he's going to have a look straight away. As Michael's trying to getting up to temperature still. It's a purple first sector from Elmerix and he's into the lead. Goes to McLaren, or into the net race lead, goes to McLaren. Now can he pull away from the two AlphaTauris, the Ferrari and the Mercedes, as Michael is struggling on those mediums to get them up to temperature. Already dropping back just 9/10 through 1 corner alone. He's now lost the DRS to the McLaren. Yeah, he's not going to have DRS. And see, of course, Elmerix does definitely have to pit again. Luna Jedi will definitely not have to pit again. The other 3 are going to be on really big management to get those medium compound tyres to the end. but through Ravazza. Luna Jedi is getting fairly close to Damien. Is he going to be close enough to go for any sort of move? Kevin seems to be gaining for a second, then Luna Jedi again lifting off the pedal. As always, Elbrich goes off into the wall. Has he got front wing damage? I think he does as he lifts off to let them all through. But that's his two-stop strategy ruined. That's going to be an early pit stop as he goes off into the gravel again. And hard into the wall of the Villeneuve chicane. Is that going to bring out a safety car? Quite possibly. That would have music to Quokka's ears if there was a safety car. But it's the two AlphaTauris back into the lead ahead of Luna Jedi and Kevin. Through Variante Alta, and Damien not with the best of exits. Luna Jedi getting fairly close to him. Down towards Ravazza. He's been nice and cautious, and is Luna Jedi going to try and put a move on the AlphaTauri? He's burning a lot. He's not got much to answer with. Because of the DRS, they're going to get pretty close to Michael and the other AlphaTauri. It's late on the brakes, we can't quite get the move done. You see, fairly equal in a straight line as Kevin's also having a look now into Villeneuve chicane. Around the long way. It's an audacious move into Tosa. He's going to squeeze the Ferrari off and Kevin gets it done. Absolutely superb from the championship leader. He's got back past the Ferrari, and now he is the one who is hunting the two AlphaTauris. It was opportunistic. He made the most of Luna Jedi being compromised out of Tamburello. It was a brave move into Villeneuve. Again, superb respect between the two championship leaders. The two of them, they both want the championship, but they both need to probably focus on trying to get the win at the same time. And Kevin 7 temps back from Damien. Luna Jedi only 3 temps back from Kevin. And no ERS deployment being used. And clearly not wanting to re-overtake the Mercedes. We've got at the front, Damien is really closing in on Michael down the pit straight. Again, just showing the power of the DRS and what it can do. We're only a half race distance in Tier 3, and it is saved up probably one of the races of the season so far. Of these first 16 laps here at Imola. The top 4, net top 4, are still only separated by a second and a half. They're all so evenly matched, it's impossible to overtake and pull away around this track. And through towards the Variante Alta again. And gap's looking a bit static at the moment. As Quadroad still leads, the only person who started on the mediums left in the race is Quokka, and he's doing a pretty decent job, 16 seconds in the lead. He does of course still have to make that pit stop, and he should feed out to Quokka in around about 6th place, 5th, 6th place, as Damien gets very close to Michael down the pit straight on this lap, but again just hanging back behind his teammates. Oh, now Damien picks up a 3-second time penalty. It's the second of the front runners to have obtained one. That will now have to linger in the back of his mind. He probably might now want to think about, as Michael runs very wide at Piratella. And there is also the fact that the track limits is going to be might be a deciding factor in this race, is how much are they willing to push to go for the positions without exceeding the track limits. Kevin now picks up a 3-second penalty as well. As all in the background, Lunachello's off. Goes to Ferrari and off goes to front wing. And the man second in the championship makes a huge error. Full front wing off. And what will that linger in the back of Kevin's mind? He's got a huge opportunity now to probably maybe not take the Drivers' Championship, because he of course still needs to outscore Lunachello by 23 points, but there's a really big opportunity for Kevin to put one hand on that Tier 3 title. He's got to deal with those two Alpha Tauris. We're driving absolutely exceptionally, the two Alpha Tauris at the moment, controlling this race at the front. But the thing is now, they do have to fight Kevin still, but Kevin isn't going to be looking in his mirrors anymore, is the Mercedes. Eyes solely forward at the two black and white balls. And what will really help him is that Damien has managed to... Is he going to get the RS on his teammate? He's just about going to get it, I think. We'll have a look as Michael goes off at Ravazza. And though he gets all crossed up on rejoining the track. He's rejoined it in third. But there we go, Damien doesn't have the RS. This is the opportunity that Kevin wants. And in the space of a corner, has gone from third behind the two Alpha Tauris to the lead of the Grand Prix. An amazing... Kevin leads the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Damien is second. Michael down to third. And it all happened in the space of one mistake from Michael. It's cost him 2 positions. Rejoined the track in such an awkward way. He just had to get out the way of his teammate, and inadvertently got out the way of the Mercedes as well. And he also was wondering why Damien actually ended up losing DRS. Probably the reason he lost it was that Michael went too deep into the corner, and in the end went over the detection point way too fast. And actually broke the 1 second to him, or trying to do so, push too hard. But Kevin into the lead. Again, clearly what we're seeing, hasn't managed to break the DRS. See, through Ravazza 2, down towards Tamburello, he's got a 5-10 gap, but how much is Damien gonna want to try and retake that lead? Here we go, down towards Tamburello. He's gaining and gaining on the Mercedes. He pulls that from behind the Mercedes on the brakes into turn 1. They get really close, but Kevin holds on into turn 1, and here we go. Michael's now having a look on his teammate. He's not close enough to go for that move, but Damien used a lot of VRS in trying to make that move, and it didn't really pay off the way that he wanted it to. But he did force Kevin to use a bit more ES than probably what the Mercedes wanted to. So Kevin runs a bit wide, and there we go, there's a decent exit for Damien, but it's not going to be close enough going into the Variante Alta. There's no point going for a move into there. It's very much single file through this part of the track. And again, out of the chicane. He's getting really close to the Mercedes as Quokka pits are in the lead. And interesting to see, Quokka should now rejoin in 5th place. And see, through Ravazza 2, Damien this time is much closer to Kevin. DRS enabled, no ERS being deployed. Now he turns it on, breezes past the Mercedes, back up into P1, goes Damien. It's swapping and changing constantly. But between the top 3, it is still probably anyone's game to win. But at the moment, it is going to Michael because he doesn't have a time penalty. Michael can just sit back here and just let these two, you know, scrap away over the P1. You know, they're not going to break away from each other. They're battling so much as well that Michael's not going to drop back from them, if he just keeps within track limits, Michael's going to have a very, very nice and simple home win for AlphaTauri. And so Quokka has came out the pits in P4. There's 11 laps to go. And he has an 11.5 second gap. Those soft compound tyres will definitely be round about a second a lap quicker than the mediums. And that's providing that the mediums aren't battling the way that the top three are doing. So Quokka at the very end of this race, will be in the back of these three's minds. Well, they're probably going to have to tell themselves, if we fight too much, even though he's got a few penalties, Quokka might be on the back of us in less time than what we realise. The gap's already down to 10.7 seconds. But here we go again. Down towards Tamburello. Damien's DRS light is now flashing, and Kevin again lifts off. And again, Kevin just doesn't... Seeming really, really hesitant is Kevin in going for those going for the moves. He just doesn't seem... He does not want to lead this race. Because he knows he won't keep it. So the best thing he can do is save up that battery and just go for it at the end of the race. It's got to be on the last lap that he takes the lead of this race. And he's got to hope that Michael gets a penalty. Because at the moment, Michael doesn't look like he's going to get one. He looks too comfortable. As Lunar Jedi picks up another penalty and is down in 6th place, he's probably going to finish there now as Lunar Jedi. For him, he'll probably be in the back of his mind, maybe pitting for a fresh set of softs and taking away the fastest lap from probably Quokka when Quokka eventually sets it on those soft compound tyres. And here we go, through Ravata 2. See, Michael is closer to the back of Kevin than what Kevin is to the back of Damien. But here we go, down towards 10 more. Kevin's going to retake the lead. Saw Michael probably turning up that ERS. There's Kevin who leads now on lap 23. He's fighting, he's in a one-man battle at the moment, Kevin, against these two AlphaTauris. They can really, really mess with him at the moment. They're forcing Kevin into a position where I don't particularly think Kevin wants to be in the lead of the race. But the problem he's got is that if he doesn't attack Damien, Michael will attack him. So he has to attack Damien to stop being overtaken by the other one. What a tactical game these three drivers are playing. It is ridiculous the level that these three are thinking at the moment. They all want this win. Probably Kevin more so than any of them. And so Quokka has managed to get the gap down to 7.7 seconds. He's not set the fastest lap as the Aston Martin, but he is coming at the front three. He's charging at them at a rate of knots as well. So he could catch them. He doesn't. He only has 3 seconds as well, Quokka. You know, if he catches Damien and Kevin, it will be for position. See, Michael's actually dropped out of DRS of the top two, but I don't particularly think it'll be too long until he gets back within that DRS of the top two. As we've got yellow flags just in front of these guys, there's a Red Bull off. I don't know which Red Bull that is that's off. I think it's Zoclu, and he is now a lap down. Comes the second driver to be lapped. You can see Damien burning quite a bit of ERS. Below 10% is Damien, and even though he's sitting behind Kevin, he's not really recharging his he's not recharging his ERS. He either needs to, you know, maybe turn the button off for a bit and think, I need to sit behind you for a bit and just let you, you know, do your thing and go for it at the end, or he's got to try and get Kevin and defend for his absolute life when the Mercedes eventually tries to come back at him. Michael has missed out on DRS again, and that's going to really hamper him down the pit straight when Kevin clearly has quite a bit more straight line speed than what Michael does, because he's not deploying any ERS, and neither was Michael. So Kevin was clearly running a bit lower downforce, and it's probably going to make it a bit harder as Damien picks up another 3-second time penalty. He's on to 6 seconds now. And that's probably basically removed Damien from the equation of winning this race, because his teammate's not going to pick up 6 seconds in the final few laps. He now has to hope that he pulls away enough and his teammate gets at least one, as Cheap Skills has gone off at Tamburello in the Mercedes. Has he got any damage? I don't think he has, but that's going to present Luna Jedi maybe with an opportunity to catch and overtake him, considering how much fresher Luna Jedi's tyres are. Goes after making that second stop. Damien spun! As another one at the front is gone. Oh, and Damien has made a huge error, and that's gonna cost him a chance to win. It's probably gonna cost him a podium, as well as he's only just ahead of Quokka now. But that leaves it. It's Kevin versus Michael at the front, but Michael's in the hot seat. He's not got a penalty. And see, Kevin is now going to have to, as Quokka has got past Damien into turn 1, Quokka up into the podium places, 7 seconds in 8 laps. No, yeah, 7 laps for Quokka. He still needs about a second a lap. There is a possibility still that Quokka can get on the back of Michael, and there is a possibility that Quokka can actually be the one who really disrupts Michael's run to the flag. Kevin is pushing. Now he's pulling that gap away. He's not got to focus on 2 AlphaTauris anymore. He's fighting 1. He's got more ERS than Michael. Has Damien gone again? Damien has gone again. And a second lap running at the very anti-alter. Damien has gone round. This time it's not going to cost him any positions. But if he wanted to pit to maybe take the fastest lap, that is completely out the window for Damien now. And see, gap at the front now up to 1.9 seconds. It's floating around 2. He needs a bit more, does Kevin. But he seemingly has the pace to pull away. It needs constant quali lap after quali lap, does Kevin at the moment. It's fluttering around the same as Damien has come into the pits. It's the AlphaTauri. So that promotes Chief Skills up into 4th, and Luna Jedi up into 5th. That's really good for Mercedes and the constructors. It's a few more points for Luna Jedi and the drivers. It doesn't look like Kevin's going to steal the championship today. It does look like he's going to put one hand on that trophy if he can win this race. And see, on this lap, the gap doesn't seem to have grown. In fact, that's actually been reduced by Michael. He's reduced it as the AlphaTauri. He's responded with a bit more speed, but here we go again. Michael is now below 10% on the ERS. Again, he will struggle to regenerate it. Kevin's only got 20% himself. It's going to be a really, really big push. See, who does have the fastest lap? Elmerix has the fastest lap of a 69. It's a significantly bit quicker than anyone else apart from Quokka. Elmerix, of course, did have DRS when he set that lap. See, so Luna Jedi's managed to get past Cheap Skills. It's more points for Luna Jedi. It's another 2 points in the championship battle. And how crucial could that be come the end? As he said, the purple first sector, he might be able to have a little bit of a fastest lap attempt here, Luna Jedi, because he is on significantly younger medium tyres than anyone else. See, Quokka, that is the pace of those softs seemingly is now beginning to go off. He's only gaining 2 to 3 tenths a lap now. on the front two. Kevin's not pulling away. He doesn't seem to have enough to pull away from Michael. He really does need the AlphaTauri to make a mistake. Casey gets a 3-second penalty and the Red Bull down in 7th. It's not going to affect his final race position. And again, rounds the final corner does Kevin. 3 laps to go. Gap is 1.9. It's not changing at the moment. Up to 2 seconds. I think Michael is now beginning to struggle a bit in terms of the straight line speed, but the DRS is pretty equal. 2.1, 9 tenths and 3 laps. He needs 3 tenths a lap, does Kevin. You sort of get the feeling at the moment Michael has done enough. He's made a few mistakes as the AlphaTauri, but he's kept it clean. And it looks like it's going to reward him with the victory. And that wait for a win this season looks like it's going to go on for Kevin. Leading the championship going into round 15, and he's going to be without a race win. And rounding the final corner. Start lap 31, penultimate lap started. It's another 18 flat for Kevin. And Michael is keeping up with him. They're pushing each other to probably as fast as they can go. As Damien picks up another 3-second time penalty. Shouldn't affect his race. I think he might have attempted to go for the fastest lap, but it's not worked to beat Elmerix. The DRS that Elmerix had on that fastest lap is clearly proven to be really powerful, and they've managed to keep him it, even with people on the fresher soft, so towards the end of the race. Through Aqua Minerale. Again, dropping below 2 seconds again. Has the gap. .1. It just doesn't seem. He's just not got enough, Kevin. He's just not quite got it. Coming round to start the final lap of this race. Gap is 2.2. 2.3. It's going up on the straight, but he's got enough in the corners seemingly as Michael to keep up. It's up to 2.5. He's really pushing now, but again back down to 2.3. It's not quite there. Those mediums will not be feeling too good at the moment. Again, Kevin, look at it, burning all the RS out of Tosa, pushing as hard as he can. 2.4, 2.5. He needs half a second. He is pushing really hard, but maybe to be too little too late for the Mercedes. Up towards the Variante Alta for the last time. Through the chicane comes Kevin. There's Michael behind him within track limits. 2.4 behind him. 2.3 towards Ravazza for the final time. Through the final 2 corners. Kevin in the Mercedes rounds the final corner here in Imola. who's going to cross the line in first, but it's not going to be him. It is Michael who wins the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix for AlphaTauri. He played it to perfection, did Michael. He made a few mistakes along the way, but it's a hard-fought win and a tactical battle with his teammate, with Luna Jeddah, with Kevin, all race long, and he comes out on top. Quokka from P11 on the grid takes the final podium. Luna Jeddah's P4 will reduce the damage that has been done. He will go into Jeddah with 10-point difference between the two at the top. Cheap Skills finishes in 5th. It's a good day for Mercedes and the constructors. Damien, 2 spins, was fighting for the win, finishes 6th. Casey will finish in 7th with Zlochlouni in 8th. And Elmeric's down in P9 in the McLaren as Casey crosses the line. What a race. So confirmation, it is Michael on top in Imola. Kevin in second. That way for the win goes on for the Mercedes driver, but he still leads the championship. Quokka, superb recovery from Quokka to finish 3rd after starting 11th. Luna Jeddah in 4th. Damage limitation at the end for him. Cheap Skills in 5th. Again, really good haul of points for Mercedes. Damien in 6th, what could have been for him. The 2 Red Bulls are Casey and Zlochlouni in 7th and 8th. Pretty lonely races for them. Elmericks was at the front, made the mistake, ends up 9th with the fastest lap. And then Rob, Aston and Yuri, 3 DNFs. Well, hopefully everyone enjoyed watching. It was an incredible race from Tier 3. Hope to see you again next week in Jeddah. Goodbye.